All right, we are live. Greetings, classmates. Welcome back to another episode of Earth School Journey. This is our study hall edition, and I have with me the wonderful, the beautiful Uni, my co-host.
Hi,
How are you
everyone.
doing today?
I'm doing great. I feel really good. I'm really excited for today. So, how about yourself? How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm good. A little tired, a little sleepy, but doing well. So many good things happening. I'm really looking forward to kind of wrapping up our conversation tonight. I feel like we have a practice heavy, like I know study hall is always practice heavy, but like we have a lot of things to offer tonight. So I think that this is going to be a really great episode. Yeah. So, as you know, we've been talking about discernment and duality. We've been talking about timing, divine flow. This is kind of all in line with the things that we've been talking about as far as discernment is concerned. And I won't go over everything that we talked about this month, but basically the gist of it is that discernment is not just knowing what to do, right? I feel like we all get that message. We know what we're supposed to do. It's not the what. The what is not the thing. But you also have to know when to do it and actually follow through with action, right? You have to actually take action. And so these practices that we're going to talk about today, they are really kind of getting to the bottom of what's in the way of your action and helping you to make some moves, right? To really listen to that divine guidance and then actually take action on it. Or not. Maybe you're somebody who takes action too fast and you need to actually slow down. It can go both ways. I find that I know more people, and myself included, more often than not, don't react, don't act when I should, when I have the guidance. Yeah. All right. So, as we like to start off our study hall, I'm going to start off by asking you, how has Earth School been for you lately?
Ooh, it has been very interesting to say the least. I feel like I have been in this period of, transition and um, just really working on centering myself within, feeling that safety, feeling that security, and being aligned with what's truly for me, um, as I am in my, I guess you could say, or reaching, nearing middle age, if you will. Um, I feel like, I feel like this is a hump for me to get over. I feel like
Yeah.
this is like the Wednesday of my life, of the period of my life. It's where it's just time for me to release all of the things that I was taught, or the things that I learned, the things I embraced, the things I leaned into, and the earlier stage of my life that is no longer serving me now. It's really time for
Mhm.
me to lean into building a new life for myself, and trusting and having faith and believing. I feel like, and we'll talk about this a little bit more, but I feel like I'm identifying the season that I'm in my life so that I can really be present for it, and so that I can move through it with more, um, again, more grace, more faith,
Mhm.
more trust, and just really showing up for myself, choosing the Most High within me. And so it's been a lot of lessons, but I'm really grateful, and I'm just really grateful. How about you? How's the Earth School been going for you?
Oh, I have to second that feeling like I'm in a transition period. And I'm kind of like I'm in a transition period, but it's like that pre-period where like the transition is coming. and you're trying to prepare for it, but then you just know that there's going to be things on the other side of it that like you couldn't have prepared for because you didn't know they were coming, you know. So I'm kind of in that stage right now with this move. Eventually, we're moving to the new house, but there's so much that's coming with that, right? Because it's
Yeah.
a lifestyle change. Like we're in a rural town now. We're moving to like rural, nothing but corn all around me. No people for you know what I mean? For I won't say miles because about a mile, 1 mile down the road is our neighbor. Um, but it's just a whole lifestyle change, and there are so many things that we've been waiting for this for, as far as starting the farm, and kind of this idea of we know that we want to use it for whatever purpose spirit has for us. And so I know that there are things that are coming that I can't even be prepared for because I don't even know. And so it's interesting, as we're talking about discernment, kind of hearing this guidance that is telling me to do this or do that, and making sure that I'm moving. For a long time the guidance was just chill, don't move yet, it's not time. And then we got that go, and we went, and it was a whole lot of wait. Right? It's like this ebb and this flow of like wait, go, wait, go, wait, go. And so now I'm hearing a lot of, you can prepare, but there's stuff you're just not going to get until you get there, because you don't even know that it's a thing yet. And not that those are bad things, they're just things.
Right.
you know I don't know, there may be aspects to this dream that I couldn't dream yet consciously, because I don't even know that they're possibilities yet. So yeah, I'm in a state of like pre-transition.
I love that.
It's coming, it's like a whole lifestyle change coming.
Yeah.
um so that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So yeah, well, let's get into it. Every month, we on the fourth week, we go through a study hall, we kind of highlight some spiritual practices. I will say that this month's spiritual practices, because we're talking about discernment, are more mental, intuitive, and the main physical practice is really sitting in silence. And a lot of what we're giving you are just some guidelines and questions to ask yourself as you sit in the silence, to determine, where you are with your discernment, and if you need to take action or what actions to take. So I just wanted to put that out there, because I know we usually go through a bunch of different practices. But the main practice here is whatever you do to get still and hear. That's what you probably are going to need to do when we're going through all of these. We always start off by saying something about consistency and spiritual hygiene. If you want to hear anything from spirit, you have to consistently be connecting. However that is for you, whatever that is for you, you have to consistently be, connecting and tapping into spirit and releasing, and whatever your practice, your regular practice is, do your best to keep up with that. You know, no judgment. No judgment. If you're, only doing it 5 out of 7 days, you're doing better than me most days. So that's great. I'm more consistent with certain things than other things. But you want to add anything before we kind of get into some of the other practices that we have?
No, I think you
Okay.
said it. Hygiene is numero uno always.
Always, always, always. And the older I get, the more I realize that, we were just talking about this in our pre meet, where I was just saying that I have come to realize I need the ceremony of a daily practice. I need the ritual of it, which I don't have right now. Do I meditate every day? Mostly, but it's in stolen moments. And I'm just starting to really feel that I need the ritual of, this is my time that I have set aside. It is special. It is sacred. Um, that's just kind of because spiritual hygiene is always important and consistency is always important. All right, so let's get to the first kind of uh, practice. I don't know if I want to call it a practice, but it's really, I guess you could turn it into a practice, right? If you sit in the stillness and if you're trying to determine whether or not you're actually waiting because spirit said wait, or if you are making excuses to avoid action, right? And so what we have is kind of some questions that you can sit with. And, sometimes you say, oh, I'm waiting for divine timing. I'm waiting for spirit. I'm waiting for, when really you're just scared to move, right? Guilty. I don't want classmates do not feel attacked because I feel attacked when I just say these things. I do. Sometimes I'm like, why am I saying this? I can't back this up. Yuri, do you want to read that first set of questions for us about waiting versus avoidance?
Yeah, so it's important to sit in that stillness and understand whether um, discernment is leading us to understand whether or not we are being patient. Are we procrastinating? Are we trusting? Or are we afraid? I feel like I definitely have struggled with this because there have been times when I've kind of like pushed through and then I mean we'll talk more about pushing through later, but I feel like the opposite, of course, of that is kind of like the waiting versus the avoidance, and um, it's learning to trust yourself within, like getting that feeling safe within to trust yourself again, and really sitting with that and understanding like what is in alignment. Where is the alignment there for me? you
Right.
know there's definitely been some times when I have leaned into divine timing as well, and I've literally said to myself, I'm gonna wait for an opportunity, or I'm gonna wait for spirit to open a door for me, and I'm asking spirit, make it clear, make it plain, help me to understand that this is a door that I need to walk through. And in the meanwhile, I'm going to do whatever work that I need to do to be prepared for whatever door is going to open up. And so, yeah, that avoidance thing can be really, really, really real. And understanding that there are times when spirit is asking us to wait, and then there are times when our ego is like taking over and we are avoiding because of
Mm-hmm.
fear, or
Right.
avoiding because of hurt or pain or things that we've experienced in the past. So it definitely can get really deep, but I think that, you know especially during this time, we've crossed over into cancer season, but I love that we started this in Mercury season, like to really get our minds right, because
Right.
the mind is all, and really getting our minds into like a stable place is where we need to be. So yeah, those questions and really sitting with that will be really helpful if you can lean into them.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, we get into these periods where not a lot is happening. And I think it's always important to check in with spirit and, is this actually a period where I should be waiting? Or is there some fear there that I'm not ready to recognize? And then I feel like what I've come to with things like that is then I get into a state of spirit, give me the willingness, the courage, and then you can do affirmations and things around that if you do feel like it's avoidance, and not spirit specific. like it's not time yet. Wait, I'm still aligning some things behind the scenes, because sometimes it really is that, and you just need to chill and wait. And then sometimes it's a fear that you're not either recognizing, you're not aware of it, or you're fully aware of it and making excuses.
Yeah.
So in those situations, I think that some affirmations around willingness and courage and bravery and being able to move forward can be helpful. And you mentioned something else about kind of forcing, and so I'm gonna skip down to that, because I feel like those questions are really good, and they are in line with this waiting versus avoidance, because forcing is like a whole other thing, right? Forcing is when you're acting, but you're not letting spirit guide you, right? You're just moving, or spirit may have given you a vision, and instead of listening to spirit about how to get to that vision, you're trying to make things happen, right? And a lot of times when we're doing that, we're not tapping in. We're not following, we're taking the hard route. We're going uphill when we don't realize that, like, you could just go around this way. It's going to take a little longer, or at least you think it's going to take a little longer, but really it's not, it's really a shortcut. um and then ignoring, that's the avoidance right there, is you're ignoring the I should be moving now. I should be doing something now. So I'm gonna go through the questions for forcing, signs that we may be forcing, and then I'm gonna ask you to go over the ones for ignoring timing, if that's all right.
Mhm.
Okay, so some signs that you may be forcing your timing. You want to ask yourself, am I acting out of fear? Am I moving out of fear? Right. And that's the, like, oh, I have to do it by a deadline, or I have to do it by this time, or if I don't have this by the time, if I'm not married by the time I'm 30, that kind of stuff. um, yeah. Am I acting from a fear of missing out? Like, is everybody else doing it, so I want to do it too? Am I trying to control the outcome? That's a big one. That I didn't think about that in a sense of force, but it is really, you're forcing an outcome, and we've talked about this many times before, about how spirit could be lining you up to go in a direction, and you're sure it's saying, I need to buy that house on the corner, when really spirit was just saying, get to the corner because there's a house around there that I want you to see. But I couldn't tell you there was a house around there because you weren't listening to that. So I just need you to go down here. And so, like, are you now trying to control the outcome? Are you trying to say, no, this is the one? It has to be this one. It has every single thing that I want in it. Does it have to be this way? You know, I'm on, obviously have houses on the brain. So, here's another really good one. And I feel like this is one that I find comes up in relationship a lot. Am I exhausted from pushing? Am I exhausted from pushing? I feel like we force ourselves to do things that are not in alignment, and we really do wear ourselves out. I mean, think about getting up every day to go to a job that you know is not aligned anymore. The exhaustion that comes with it. I remember the last days of my lawyering being so thoroughly exhausted doing nothing. Like, I wasn't really even doing anything anymore. I was just wrapping things up, and I was just so exhausted with it. And so I feel like that's a really great question to ask yourself. Like, am I exhausted because I'm trying to force something to happen here? I'm not, because alignment, I won't say alignment is easy, but it's usually pretty simple. It's usually pretty simple. It's not usually a whole lot of moving parts. It's pretty simple, so it's not as exhausting. Does this feel forced rather than aligned? And also, have I ignored signs that suggest I need to be patient? Yeah. Those are the questions for determining kind of whether or not you're forcing. And I, like I said, I would sit in stillness, however that comes for you, and put the questions out there and allow the answers to just flow. So I'll turn it over to you for signs we're ignoring timing.
Yeah, yeah. The ignoring timing is very, very important, because it is, in my opinion, like the word that is coming up for me is disobedience.
Yes.
And we don't want to be
Yes.
disobedient to our higher selves, the higher self that we say that we believe in, that we have faith in, that we know is directing and guiding our lives, you
Right.
know. And so some of the things we can consider are, have I already received enough clarity to move forward? Like, have you done all the research? Have you gotten all, as many details as you can? What all of you found out? And the only thing that you're going to learn, and like Umi said earlier, the next step is to take the step, and you're going to find out from there where you go from there. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like, this is an aligned step. There are some things that you just can't control, some things that are going to come up that only experience can teach you, and there's nothing wrong with that. um Am I waiting for certainty that may never come?
Mm.
Again, some things you only get certain as you take the steps.
Yep.
You only gain more clarity as you move along the path.
Yep.
Am I using spirituality to avoid risk? I mean, we talk about spiritual. Everyone talks about spiritual bypassing these days, and we have to realize that we are living in a time or a universe that is governed by space and time. You know what I mean? And so when we are not acting in alignment with space and time, we are avoiding risk, and we are not allowing ourselves to grow and move forward. I'm sorry, I got distracted. This charger is going in and out. But yeah, are you using spirituality? Are you, oh, the Most High is gonna do? I mean, we talked about the man in the boat
The man in the boat. Yes.
extensively this month, and I thought about it, and I said to myself, there's so many boats that, or so many ways that the Most High sends help for us, through ideas, through the things that we have on hand. I like this, the Bible story of the woman with the oil who came up, where she had no money, but all she had was oil. That was her
Right.
boat. That was her saving grace, to use that oil, bottle it up, and feed her, get money to feed her family and continue to grow and survive. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But if she would have said, oh, the Most High is going to save me, I need to save my oil, or I need to cook with that, or whatever the case may be,
Right.
she would have never overcame that hump, that I
Right.
talked about earlier.
Right.
And have I mistaken fear for caution?
Yeah.
I think that's just self-explanatory. Are you being afraid, or are you just being cautious? Now, fear keeps you frozen. It does, you don't move when you're fearful. When you're cautious, I think that you take a step and you assess, you take another step, you assess, you feel your way through it. There's nothing wrong with being cautious.
Right.
And to some degree there's nothing wrong with having fear, but if it's keeping you immobilized, like if it's keeping you from moving forward, then that's where the problem is. So
Right.
yeah, there's
Right.
we have to make sure that we are giving honor to timing. There is, like, I often give thanks for divine timing. I often ask divine timing to show up in my life. I often ask spirit to show me the right time to do what I need to do. I
Mm-hmm.
think getting in alignment with divine timing is like paramount. We were talking the other day, and I was saying how some people they kind of they have this, oh, time is a construct, it means nothing, and so
Yep.
on and so forth. But on the one hand, I get it. Yes, man-made time, like these clocks that we have, this is all man-made, and the calendar is man-made. Like, yes, for sure. But there is cosmic timing. There is divine timing in alignment with your life, that if you are not doing what you're supposed to be doing, taking aligned action, checking in with spirit, moving forward, you can miss your boat. Let's be clear.
Yep.
You
Yep.
can miss your boat. So,
Yeah.
oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go into the next point. I was just rambling on.
No, but it's all fine. And a lot of these practices really do have to do with timing and action, because
Yeah,
with discernment, you can hear the message, but if you are not doing it when it's supposed to be done and actually following through and doing it, then did you really have discernment?
listen, Michael Jackson. Listen, Michael Jackson said that when he would get an idea, he would act on it immediately, because if he didn't, Prince would get the same idea and he would be the one to do it and get the benefits of it. And I'm just like, for like, you think these famous superstars are not in tune, but they
They
are.
are. Yeah.
For him to
Yeah.
say something like that and for it to echo long after he's been gone in the physical, is like, it's such a lesson.
It's funny that you say that, because I remember, I can think it was Chris Tucker who said he was meeting with him once, and he was talking to him, and then suddenly he would just jump up and do a dance move and then sit back down. He goes, had to lock it in. Like he had to do, like, it came to him, so he had to do it so that his body would
Yes.
remember it. And I'm like, yeah, that's he acted immediately on the inspiration. That is true discernment, is
Yeah.
acting on the inspiration when it comes. Like, you can have the intuition, you can have the divine guidance, but if you're just sitting there looking at it, you are not discerning. you know the discernment comes in recognizing its truth and moving on it when you're supposed to. So no, you may have moved on to the next point, but I mean, it's really all the same thing at this point. It's
Yeah.
the hardest part of discernment is knowing when to act and then actually doing it.
Yeah.
you know really knowing to act, really having the courage to say, I am going to take this action. And this thing about mistaking fear for caution, I think we all do that. That's, oh, well, that's too risky. Quitting my job and starting a business, that's too risky. You know what I mean? I can't do that. That doesn't make practical sense. Well, yeah, but are you listening to the signs? Has spirit been telling you for 6 months that you need to be saving money? Or 5 years? Or, you know what I mean? Like, if your bank account is still at zero, but you've been knowing that you need to save money so that you could do this thing, well, you haven't been listening. And that's when things get hard, because that is when spirit comes in and goes, okay, well, now I'm going to have to get them fired. Right. And now you're going to have to go the hard way, because I made an agreement to have experiences in this life, and you're not moving towards them. You're not doing the things. Right. So, yeah. With that said, we'll move on to divine timing versus personal timing, because I want to get to the 3 spiritual timing questions after this. Um, so we do have some signs here of whether or not um, you're working under divine timing or you're working under your personal timing. And yes, a lot of these are repetitive. Like, I'm going to admit that a lot of this is repetitive, but I feel like giving you different ways and different angles to look at it really helps you to analyze, like, what am I doing here? Why am I not moving on this? Or, maybe I'm moving and I'm not giving it time to hear the guidance, because that's the forcing end of things, and that's not good either. Um so let's see. We'll start with personal timing. Personal timing or human timing, right? Again, like Uni was saying, we know we live in a world that has timing. Time is in a spiritual sense, time is not real. But the game we agreed to play is time and space. That's the game we agreed to play. And so part of that is knowing, am I trying to do things in human time? Am I trying to do things in personal time that I should be waiting for spiritual timing? And so human timing is generally driven by fear or urgency or this desire to control. Um, and so that's kind of your first um, clue, I want to say, I guess. Your first clue is like, is there some kind of urgency here? Is there some reason that I'm trying to control the outcome of this? Then you're probably operating under human timing, right? And yes, human timing is real, right? That bill is due on that day, right? And yes, you're going to do whatever you can to try to get the money. But if you are trusting in spirit and you're hearing you're going to have it, but it's going to be late, but you're still trying to force it. You know, sometimes you don't hear that you're going to have it, it's going to be late. You just know it's coming, but it hasn't come yet, right? Sometimes you don't know what way spirit is going to move. You really don't. You don't. Yes, the deadline for that bill to be due could come, right? It's due on the 25th. It just so happens the 25th is a holiday. And you ain't realize it. It's some random holiday that you didn't realize it was a bank holiday and it's going to be closed, so that you actually have 3 extra days, and then you know what I mean? And then there's so many different ways things, their computer system went down. They never got the notification that you were late. You never know the way it's going to turn out. That, you know, desire to control the outcome, that urgency, that's really a key sign that you're really operating under human timing or personal timing. Some of the things, some of the statements you may be saying to yourself is, I want this because I want it. I just want it. Like, why can't I just want it? Yeah, I want it. I want my house and I want it now. Right? That's generally you're being a brat, a human brat. I need to have this happen because I have a plan. And we know the saying about plans, right? Man plans, God laughs. I believe that too, because I'm a planner. And the number of times my plan has been thwarted. It doesn't mean that my plan was bad, right? It doesn't mean that the plan was bad. The plan may get you into certain, places that you need to be, especially if you're using spirit and you're listening to spirit to do the planning. But if you are trying to force spirit to operate on your plan, you got it backwards. um this was an interesting one. I feel ready. I can't count the number of times I'm like, I am so ready. I am so ready for XYZ to happen. I am so ready for this, and that. I am so ready, right? I've had that feeling, then it happens, and I go, I was not ready. I was not ready. So that was an interesting one because it was like, oh, guilty, definitely guilty. I did do though. I want it now. Like, I want what I want, and I want it now. I need an answer immediately. This is what I struggle with a lot. Is I want spirit to tell me now. I want to know all the steps. I don't want to walk to the corner and have to see what's around the corner and then walk to the next corner and then determine whether or not I need to go left or right. And yeah, I want to know the plan now. I want to know. Um this should have happened already. Yeah, if it didn't happen yet and you feel like you're getting bitter because you're definitely operating under human timing, because everything comes in divine timing. Everything comes in divine timing. So if it hasn't happened yet, it's not supposed to. And that was a big one that I had to come to with the building of this house, because we wanted to be on this property 5 years ago. It's been 5 years in the waiting, just 5 years. It's been very hard, but the number of times I have said we should have been over there already.
I can imagine.
We should have been in our house. You know, um, definitely trying to push the human timing, the personal timing, and feeling like I'm behind. I am guilty of this one a lot. Like, I just turned 45 on Monday, and the feeling of like, oh my God, there's so much to do.
Yeah.
Like, I have so much I want to do. Like, I want to write books, and I want to have a farm, and I want it, and I want it, and I want it, and I'm behind, and I should have did this already. And a lot of that is human timing, because it's the social programming of, you have to have this done by this age, and you have to have that done by that age, and you need to retire at this age, and you know what I mean? Like, I know that that's a lot of it, but I mean, I'm human. I struggle with feeling like I'm behind, like I'm not where I should be in life, and I really just need to trust. Any of us, when we feel that way, really need to trust that we are right where we belong. Right where we belong. Tongue tied. All right, Uni, I will turn it over to you for spiritual timing.
Yes, thank you so much. Spiritual timing is the recognition of growth happening inside of us first. It's the I often, like, in my mind, when I think of like spiritual timing, I often say within myself that I'm like feeling something out. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like I'm allowing the feeling to, like, or the whatever it is to come to me, and to really feel it out, and to really understand like the steps that I may have to take, and like to really start to go through that process internally before externally, like connecting with my higher self before I do anything. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And it's, again, like I said earlier, it's asking spirit to come and show me the way, and allowing those doors to open up as they should open, and being available to them as they open. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And trusting it. I think that there's just so many different ways that it may come through for us, and it's like your connection, your relationship with spirit may be different from mine. You know what I mean? And that's okay. But understanding, what is aligned for you is the most important thing. Like allowing spirit to show you what is in alignment for you. What is being prepared for you? What do you need to develop first before you take those steps? Someone was talking about when we used to write papers in school, like we would write by hand, like, and we'd start off with like the idea, and then we do like our what was it called, brainstorming, you know what I mean? And then you would flesh it out from there. And there was different ways to brainstorm. Some were circles, some were lines and columns, and there's so many different ways. And I kind of think of it along those lines. It's kind of like brainstorming, but from a spiritual sense. It's like
Mm-hmm.
really connecting yourself with what is what is this thing that you are asking spirit to show you, or what is spirit trying to show you, and how can you lean into that, and understanding, is it coming from love, is it coming from fear, is it coming from subconscious programming, or something that you're used to. I know for me, I would get so excited about certain things, and then to be disappointed later on. And spirit had to show me, like, some of these things that I was getting excited about were subconscious programming. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
I thought it was a spiritual thing, but it was more of a, this is what I'm used to, this is what my upbringing taught me was for me. But every time I go through this thing with whoever, it never works out. I always end up
Right.
saying, like, how did I get here again? And it's because I'm not really connected with with my spiritual self. I'm connected with that inner child that has, experienced trauma or gone through things that was not necessarily really for me. Um, Also understanding what season I'm in. Ooh, that's a really big one. We talked about
Yeah.
this, earlier in the month. Just understanding like where you are. Are you in a sowing season? Are you in a brainstorming season? Which is before the sowing season. Are you in a nurturing season? Are you in a harvesting? Like what season are you in? Like really understanding that on a deep level, and understanding like whether or not this process or whatever it is that you're going through, this timing, is it ripening naturally? Like is it like taking everything out of you? You know what I mean? Like I I've had jobs, and this has been like my more recent experience. So when we talking about houses, I'm talking about jobs sucking the life out of me.
Yeah.
Like, is this growing naturally? Like, is this ripening naturally? Like, am I going through this process and it's growing at a healthy rate, and I'm not feeling depleted? Am I feeling good about this? You know what I mean? If not, am I in alignment? Like, I got to go back to the drawing board. Like, where is this
Right.
where I'm supposed to be? You know, understanding what is mine to do today. Also, the guy I had to come to this realization again the other day. It's just like, okay, I can only do but so many things in a day. I'm only one person. I can do my best today and leave the rest for another day. I don't have to stress myself out about trying to do everything all at one time, because there are things that are still unfolding. And to that point, can I identify the things that still need to unfold?
Yeah.
you know Been thinking about a lot of things in my life from like a project management standpoint. Like, am I, like, some projects are like in their very early stage, some are kind of like I'm monitoring like where they are, others are still in the thought part, what is unfolding. Like, yes, I have a
Right.
lot of things in the air, but just understanding like where each thing is in my life, and not stressing myself out about not being able to do everything in one day.
Right.
And
Right.
so spiritual timing, it doesn't mean that we abandon our intention or our action. It means we learn to cooperate with the unfolding instead of trying to control every detail. And I just want to say, like, really understanding if you are trying to control every detail. Like, really think about that for a second. Like,
Right.
are you really forcing things, or are you allowing your higher self to guide you into a better, more aligned, I will say, life?
Hmm.
And I'll leave it
Right.
at that. Thank you.
Yeah. No, everything you said is just resonating. So hard, like,
Thank you. And
so I think
spirit.
I'm gonna head back to the three spiritual timing questions, because I think that's perfectly in line with what you were just talking about. It just kind of sums it up in a very succinct way. Um, the three spiritual timing questions that we identified are: is this aligned? Is the action that I'm thinking about taking, or the thing that I want, is it aligned? Is it moving me toward greater love, truth, growth, authenticity, peace? Peace is a big one. Um, and that's kind of, you'll know it's aligned if you feel that greater love, that greater truth, that greater peace, that greater feeling of authenticity, of being exactly who and what you are. um is this available? I found this to be an interesting one, because I think a way to really identify whether or not spiritual timing is what you're leaning into is, Are the conditions actually present? Or am I trying to force something? Like if you're trying to get something before spirit has lined everything up. And I've seen this in my own life where I'm like, I want that, and so I'm trying to go for it. But if I would just sit back and wait, and when I do eventually, because forcing it doesn't generally work, right? Or you lose it if you force it, the alignment comes and you watch it happen and it's effortless almost. Yes, you take action, yes, you have things to do, but the conditions align perfectly. The person shows up who you need to talk to, or the person answers the phone who you've been trying to call for, you know, 3 months to try to get something done. You know what I mean? Like it just aligns. It just everything is available and ready and it's right there. Is this the right moment? Even if it's aligned and you have all the resources and everything is possible, is this the right season for it? Is now the time for it? You know? And these are not questions that you should be asking yourself and answering yourself. You should be asking them and along with spirit, getting that guidance, listening to it, because we can answer the questions the way we want them to be answered, or we can listen for the answers, you know. And I think that's important. All of these questions that we're telling you, yes, you may get a mental, human answer to them, but really sit in stillness and sit with spirit and see what comes up, because sometimes what comes up is not in line with what your mind is coming to an answer, and River is on it. So I'm gonna turn it over to you, Uni, so that we can talk about using divination tools for discernment.
Yeah, so divination tools can be useful when you're seeking clarity, additional guidance, or confirmation. Always to use them ethically, prayerfully, and with intuition rather than strict interpretation. Again, sometimes the mind can get in the way of, if we haven't renewed our mind and made sure that we've done our subconscious reprogramming and gotten ourselves in alignment. Because even I'm telling you, I have utilized some of my divination tools, such as my I think I put it up. I put it over there, but my pendulum, and I just knew my pendulum was telling me X, Y, and Z. But I was, yeah, don't force it. Exactly. Hey, Christy, you're right. Do not force it. Allow the answer to come to you. And a lot of times, what I've realized is that your first inkling, and sometimes your mind, like the intuition, the message, the discernment will come to you, but then it's like your mind, like, or your programming, or your upbringing or whatever will come in and really override it. And sometimes it'll do it just like that. You'll be like, wait, hold on, I so definitely, that's why it's important to slow down and sit in the stillness, because when you slow it down, you allow those intuitive nudges and the discernment, the intuitive messages to have more say. Like, they stay a little longer, I feel like, the more you're able to be still, because you don't have that swiper, no swiper coming in to mess with you. That's how I feel. Like, I'm telling you, there's been some things where I'm like, no, and then next thing I know, my intuition is like, or something has overrode my intuition. And so there's so many tools that you can use. We've talked about them before. I just mentioned the pendulum, which I took over there. I don't have it with me. You can work with runes. You can, some people throw bones. You have tarot cards, the 52 deck of cards playing system, oracle cards. We've talked about free writing as being a form of just letting spirit talk through you. There's just so many different things that you can work with to help you to, even down to a pencil and a paper, to help you to tap into your divination, and get you that clarity that you need so that you can make sure that you are moving in alignment.
Yeah. Yeah. Even astrology. I mean, you can, if you're supposed to be doing something and the transits are in a good, supportive position, that can be an additional, like, hey, now's the time. Or maybe the planets aren't in a supportive position, and that's a confirmation to you that that inkling to hold off for a minute is right. So I mean, but none of it is hard and fast. I think that's what I like to let people know about divination. Like, you know, people can say don't do things during a Mercury retrograde, but you get that from spirit, go and do it, then do it, because spirit overrides all of it.
Right, right. Maybe this Mercury retrograde is hitting the right place in your chart where it's
Right.
going to be an open door for you.
Right.
It's not a one size fits all, and it's really important to understand that and keep that in mind.
Right. Right. So we don't have a lot of time left. I think let's get to the tools, the crystals and the herbs. And I think I might put the reflection questions just either in the comments or in the description, and you all can, our classmates can definitely access them that way and use them. But let's move on to our ritual tools. We'll start with the crystals. Uni, want to tell us about
Yeah,
yours?
yeah. So I have fluorite, and I actually have purple fluorite, which is cool. And I found one that has the palm stone, and it has clarity written on it.
Nice.
And I absolutely love working with fluorite. There's so many different types. There's rainbow fluorite, green, blue. I don't think there's red, but there's so many different types of fluorite. And what I love about fluorite is that it helps you to sort through mixed signals. So if you look at the fluorite, you see like those lines or those bands on it. And I feel like the lines, like as you're working with this, and it's a palm stone, so I just usually hold it in my palm as I'm in meditation, one hand or both hands, and I feel like it helps me to separate all the mixed signals, like all these. It helps me to tap in with all these lines and help me to get my. It helps me to connect more with my intuition through all these mixed signals that may be coming in. If that makes sense, I've been trying to find a way to like make it make sense, but it makes sense to me. I hope it makes sense to you all. This the symbolism of the lines and really having clarity through that. And then I also love that this particular one is a purple stone, and purple is one of the stones, is one of the colors for like the higher chakras, like your crown chakra, and it's one for really connecting with spirit. And this stone helps you to definitely connect with your clarity, just getting through the. I'm seeing like the snow on the TV, or like the the mixed signals. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's what I have. Purple fluorite.
All right. I love that. I love the analogy of the lines, because I mean everything's easier to read when you have like lined paper versus you kind of, I like that metaphor.
Thank you.
And so I chose Tiger's Eye, and I know we talk about Tiger's Eye a lot, but this specifically for um discernment, I find Tiger's Eye to be a great tool. Thank you, because I always forget to bring mine outside. Um, Tiger's Eye is great for willingness and willpower and confidence and taking action. It really heals and helps us to align our lower chakras, the root, the sacral, the solar, which provides that security, that sense of confidence. The If you need to take action, feeling secure in those lower chakras, having those lower chakras be balanced is really going to be helpful in taking aligned action. And so that's what really drew me to the tiger's eye. And I find it interesting that the one that you chose is more for the upper chakras, and then the one that I chose is really for the for the lower
Right?
chakras.
We're
Yeah,
covered.
we're covered top and bottom. Okay, so let's move on to our herbs for this study hall. Uni sage.
Yes, I have sage, and today I have with me actually blue sage, and it's actually a beautiful herb, and it helps you to clear excess, and it
Mm.
allows you to keep the wisdom and keep what is true and what is clean, and really clear out anything that doesn't belong, anything that's not in alignment. And so I absolutely love blue sage, white sage, and there's another one too that I've bought before, but I can't remember what it is. But yeah, yeah, sage.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I love sage. Even garden sage, if you dry it out and
Yes,
burn it, it smells amazing.
it does.
Yeah. Yeah. So I chose bay leaf, and bay leaves are used for manifestation. Like people write on them and then burn them for manifestation, but they're really great for uncovering truth, for clarity, um, inner authority, which I feel like is what we're ignoring when we are avoiding moving in divine timing, right? It's that inner authority. And so carrying bay leaves with you, burning bay leaves, you can, I know that you can cook with them and all of that, but when you're using them more purposefully, I think having just a sachet, a little bag, a little pouch, and keeping it with you as a reminder to trust your inner authority, and to allow that plant to be around you so that you can be supported by it. Sovereignty was the other thing that came up about bay leaves, that that kind of goes hand in hand with inner authority, knowing that you're sovereign to make choices, to make moves, that you have that connection to the divine, and you have the authority to act on it. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Thank you. I just bought a bag of, and these are like the biggest bay leaves I've probably ever seen in my life today when I was at the international market. I was like, oh, these are huge. Lately, I've been seeing them. They
Really
are getting
small. Yeah,
smaller
yeah.
and smaller. I'm like, well, geez, like I can't even write on these. So I found a bag today. I wish I would have brought it upstairs with me, but they're like pieces like this big. So
Wow.
I'm excited. Yeah, and thank you for that. I'm definitely gonna work on getting like a little satchel or something where I can put them with me and carry them. My my first name actually comes from the bay tree, and so it's something that's like near and dear to me, and it's something that I know I'm supposed to work with. And so yeah, thank you for that
Yeah. Great.
that reminder.
Well, we are coming up on the hour, so we are really out of time. Again, I'll put those reflection and integration questions in the description or in the chat, or um, the comments, so that you all have access to them, since we kind of ran out of time. And I think that's it. Thank you so much, classmates, for joining us for another one. Next month we're talking about nature, which is our thing, right? I am so excited for next month. I am so looking forward to whatever it is that Spirit wants to talk to you about nature through us. So that's it. So grateful to every last one of you. I bless you all. Uni, any last words?
We just want to thank you so much for joining us this month as we have navigated discernment through, considering our duality with our human nature, our spiritual nature, and getting in alignment with divine timing. We hope that you got something out of it. We hope that you are able to take these lessons forth and, just help to elevate the frequency and the vibration of the planet. We need it now more than ever. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you all next time. Peace.
Peace. Thank you.